Samira looked at the bartender. All right. I can do this. I need 2 more drinks. Samira said as she pulled out some more money from her new jacket. All right, coming right up, Mississippi. The bartender said with a smile. Samira just frowned and waited for the drinks. Once they were set before her, she took them and ran over to the guy she was supposed to kiss at midnight. He was currently leaning on a wall, looking down at a woman he was trying to pick up. I think we'd have a great time. What do you say? Come to my house. The man asked the woman. The woman looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry, you're not my type. The man suddenly looked annoyed. I'm everyone's type, he said as he leaned in closer. Give me a shot. I swear you won't regret it. We could even do something real quick in one of these private rooms. The man said as he attempted to place his other hand on her. The woman quickly got herself out of the way and stood next to Samira. Again, dude, you're not my type. The woman says before looking at Samira. She's more my type, she said before running off. Darn lesbians, always taking the prettiest women around. The man said before he looked at Samira. Yeah, I hate that. I mean, it seems like such a waste. Samira said as she got closer to the guy. Perhaps I can make up for that? Samira said as she batted her eyelashes as she stared at the guy. He looked at her and frowned. No thanks, toots, he said before turning and trying to walk away. Samira's jaw fell open. Huh? She said quietly. She then pouted and then ran in front of him. Why not? She asked demandingly. The guy stopped and looked annoyed. I mean, you're pretty thin, you have red hair, which is gross, you don't have pretty eyes, you're small where it counts, and there are probably a million other things, he said as he stepped past her. Samira was left there feeling horrible. Samira watched him walk away, wondering what she should do now. I need to kiss him, so I guess I have to try again. Samira followed him and tapped his shoulder to make him stop. Darn woman, what do you want? He said, annoyed. Samira frowned. I want you to give me a chance. I'm a great woman, and we can have a good time together. The guy rolled his eyes. If you want to help me have a good time, bring me a drink and something to eat, he said as he looked away to find another woman to flirt with. Samira puffed her cheeks. I'm not a server, she mumbled as she crossed her arms. The guy looked at her and looked pissed. Well, get going, woman, chop chop, he said as he turned Samira around and pushed her forward. Samira groaned at that but walked away mumbling to herself. Ugh, she said as she looked at the bar. He's such a jerk, she muttered as she walked up to the bartender. She turned and looked at Samira. That look tells me things are not going well. What is it? His attitude, the way he talks down to women, or something else? The bartender asked as she grabbed a glass and started filling it. Samira crossed her arms and turned her head. It's going well. He even asked me to get him a drink and something to eat, if you have anything. The bartender smiled and then pulled out a bag of chips from under the bar. She then placed a drink down next to it and looked at Samira. What? Make him a tab, Samira said as she went to grab the stuff. The bartender stopped her. No can do, his tab's already maxed. You got to pay for it. Samira sighed and then pulled out the last of the cash she had on her and placed it on the bar. Thank you and enjoy, the bartender said as she let Samira take the stuff. Yeah, sure, whatever, Samira said as she walked back to the man. When she got back to the guy, he was leaning over another woman trying to pick her up. Samira had no idea what they were saying, but it ended with a slap. "Darn jerk, stay away from me," she yelled as she ran off. The guy turned towards her and was rubbing his face. "Swine, lucky I don't," he said as he looked at Samira. Samira gulped. Clearly this guy was as bad as they get. "Well, you may not be the prettiest, but at least you know your place," the guy said as he took the chips and drink from Samira. He then walked over to a table and sat down. Samira followed him and sat down. He looked at her. "Yeah, sure, why don't you sit with me?" he said clearly, being sarcastic. He then ate the chips as loudly as he could, all while chugging down his drink. Samira sat there awkwardly just staring at him. "So," Samira said as she changed the way she was sitting to make herself look prettier. The guy finished his chips and then crumpled the bag up. He then tossed the bag at Samira's face. She frowned and then looked down at it as it landed on the table. "Clean that up for me, would you, and bring me another drink," the guy said before finishing the one he had off and sliding the glass towards Samira. I actually can't get you another. I spent the rest of my money on that last drink and those chips," Samira said as she placed the empty chip bag into the glass. The guy sighed. "So you're not pretty enough and you don't have any money. Pretty much you're useless. Well, I guess you could still bear a couple of kids and be a decent housewife, but I'm too young for that." Samira felt her blood boiling, and she wanted to slap him just like that other woman had, but she knew she had to appease him in order to win the bet. So she sat there giving him her full attention as he went on about his idea of a perfect wife, all of which was horribly gross and disgusting. He then started talking about himself, things like how big he is, how smart, his job, all his friends, everything. After 20 minutes, Samira knew everything about the guy, other than his name, which she was quite surprised he didn't say every 2 seconds with how much he liked himself. He suddenly stopped talking and looked at his watch. "Look at that, only 3 minutes until midnight. Seems tonight was a total bust," he said as he stood up defeated. Samira's heart sank and she jumped up next to him. "Wait!" she yelled as she placed her hands on his chest. "Please. I was really hoping to kiss a guy at midnight, tradition and all, and I just love the distant bad boy vibe you have. So please, would you kiss me at midnight?" Samira said as she looked up at him. The guy looked her up and down and then shrugged. "You know what, sure. I mean, you're still not what I want, but your other qualities as a woman aren't bad. So I'll kiss you at midnight, but afterward we head to my house." Samira stepped back and gulped. Your house, why with you?" The guy nodded. "Yeah, we can find something to do when we get back there, even if it's just you cleaning my house or cooking. I'm sure that's still pleasant for you, seeing as you don't get picked up often. So, deal or no deal?" the guy said as he reached his hand out to Samira. Samira looked down at it. It was the hand with his watch, so she could see that there were only 30 seconds till minutes left. This was her only chance to win and avoid being stuck as a woman. "Deal," Samira said as she placed her hand on his. As soon as their hands met, the guy pulled Samira in close and kissed her on the lips. He then rested his hand on her hip and held her as they continued to kiss until midnight. Samira was expecting it to be a wonderful moment, one that made her heart flutter and made her want to actually go home with him, as she was a woman, and that was what she was sure they wanted, but it was nothing like that. Samira didn't feel anything, in fact, it was pretty bad. The clock struck midnight and the bartender pressed a button that made confetti shoot out all around the club. That's when Samira pulled away from the guy. "Wow, you actually have soft lips. Perhaps this won't be a total bummer of a night." "Hey, what's with that look? Are you disappointed?" the guy asked, looking offended. Samira looked at him and shrugged. That wasn't what I expected. Honestly, that was the worst kiss of my life, she said as she stared at him. The guy suddenly looked angry. I knew there was something wrong with you. To heck with the women here. I'm out of here, he said as he stormed off. Samira watched him as she worked through the many thoughts in her head. How she saw the world was basically shattered. It was now clear to her that women were nothing like she thought and that the way she'd acted and treated them was messed up, immature even, and it was clear she needed a wake-up call. Samira slowly walked over to the bar where the bartender was. Once she got to the bar, the bartender noticed her and came over with a smile. Oh hey, Samira. I saw that kiss. I can't believe you actually managed to do it. The bartender then placed a drink in front of Samira and then looked her in the eyes. It was clear something was going on with Samira. Are you all right? Oh, let me guess, being kissed like a woman hurts your masculine pride. You'll get over it, she asked, slightly concerned. I didn't feel anything. I wasn't even the least bit attracted to him, and he was so rude and annoying. He said mean things about me, threw trash at me. It was so bad, and I was doing the same thing, treating women like they were lesser. The bartender closed her eyes and smiled. Yeah, not only is it messed up, but it's super annoying. I mean, guys like that will lie and say a beautiful redhead like yourself isn't pretty, but you're the prettiest woman in the club. Really? Samira said as she looked up and smiled. The bartender nodded. Yup, so don't let him get you down. Samira smiled even more and looked down at herself. Yeah. I won't let some dumb jerk get me down. Oh, and I'm sorry for being like him, Samira said as she looked back up at the bartender. I'm setting my goal for the new year to be less of a total jerk and become a more caring person who respects women. The bartender laughed. Well, I'm glad to hear it, but to be fair, that'll be a lot easier since you're a woman now. Samira's face turned a bit red. Wait, what? The bartender laughed some more. Well, you lost the bet, so since I won, I think I'll keep you as a girl and have you work here with me. Samira let out an awkward laugh. Great. Don't pout, it'll be fun. I'll get you a super cute uniform, teach you everything you need to know about being a woman, perhaps kiss you a few times, and even give you the chance to make another bet to turn back into a guy. The bartender said as she poured another drink. Huh? What was that middle thing? Samira asked as she watched the bartender. Nothing important, now let's drink. The bartender said as she picked up her drink and held it in front of Samira. All right. Samira said as she picked up the other and clinked it against hers. To the new year, and to a new, better you. The bartender said as she took a sip. Samira did the same, and when she moved the drink from her lips, she looked at the bartender. Yeah, to a better me, one who actually asks and remembers the names of women, Samira said as she let out an awkward laugh. The bartender removed her drink from her lips and smiled. Eris. My name is Eris. You best remember that because one day soon I'll have you saying it a lot. Eris said as she winked. She then turned around to start cleaning up the bar, leaving Samira standing there completely embarrassed but with a big smile on her face. 2026 is going to be the most interesting year of my life, but I get the feeling it'll be great and good for me.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also check out my Patreon and DeviantArt pages. There you can find all my public stories. You can also support my work by getting early access to all stories, exclusive content, and even commission me to make you a custom story. Anyways, thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great day.